it's not really sports related to me. And let me be very, very clear. My eyes are on one individual, and that is the man that occupies the White House. His name is President Donald Trump. He was responsible for this. I don't give a damn what anybody says. And I'm not talking politics just for the world out there to recognize. I'm not talking about Republicans. I'm not talking about conservative policies. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm talking about him. I watched his entire speech yesterday. I watched a president speak for approximately an hour. And you can call it dog whistling, or you could say it's directly. He sent them to the nation's capital. He sent them over to the state capitol. He talked about, we're strong, we're not weak. Only the weak would stand for this. You can't let this happen. We're going to march over there before he got in his motorcade and went back to the White House. He did that. He's responsible. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Somebody's going to say it, I'm going to say it. The reality of the situation is I'm going strictly by the speech he gave to them minutes before they walked over to the state capitol. He sent them over there to cause disruption. And in that building, there were blacks, there were whites. There were young folks, there were older folks. There were folks working for the government. There were folks who were elected officials. The vice president of the United States was in danger. The speaker of the House was in danger. The majority leader of the Senate was in danger. And he knew that and did not care. Period. Now, when we talk about black people, let's be very clear about what we're saying is. Listen to my man Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, this morning, along with various others, because he's on Urban View, Sirius XM radio channel at 1826. I love him. But he said it for me very, very appropriately. Doc Rivers said it. Steve Kerr said it. Stan Van Gundy said it. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum said it. These were black people. There would have been more than 4 people dead. And by the way, they wouldn't have gotten into the rotunda. We wouldn't have gotten into the rotunda. Breaking windows, penetrating the barriers. Police officers actually let them through the barriers. Now, for those who want to condemn them, clearly whoever's running the police force in the nation's capital, whoever's responsible, rather, for Capitol security, they should be fired immediately. They should be fired. No question. We understand that. But understand also that those officers, those law enforcement officials actually in attendance, their number one priority was to protect the elected officials. So if you're protecting them and shielding them from harm, you can't do that and then also guard the barriers and prevent people from coming in. But there was a lack of preparation. I don't understand it. I don't understand how they got into the state capitol. Black people would have never gotten that far. We'd have been mowed down. They'd have shot us on sight. I would remind the nation that when protesters were out there months ago and there were people threatening to penetrate the gates of the White House, I would remind people that the president of the United States the next day said, I'm so glad. He said, he didn't use the word disappointed, but he came across as disappointed that they didn't penetrate even deeper. He said, because my Secret Service guys, these young guys, they're ready. They were great. He said, but man, if they had gotten penetrated, he said, I'd have felt sorry for those protesters because I had the most vicious attack dogs waiting for them. This is what he's done. One man who cared about himself more than his country. One man who cared about his power more than his country. One man who cared about himself, his power, his money, his prestige, whatever you want to call it, cared about that more than potentially the lives of human beings, some of whom have supported him lock, stock, and barrel for the last 4 years. Whether you want to abhor it or celebrate it, no one has supported the president more than Vice President Pence. Very few, if anyone, outside of him has supported him more than Senator Mitch McConnell. And evidently, that did not matter. And this is where we are. And as a result, as Kendrick Perkins said, and he alluded to, Max, because I want to come back to you right now, I'm scared because there's still less than 2 weeks to go. You know, you can't get him out of office by that time. They talking 25th Amendment. That's going to take at least 8 days, if not longer. You're not getting him out. He's the president of the United States, still got the nuclear codes, et cetera, et cetera. We don't know what this man is capable of, but we do know this because the NBA players said it and said it so eloquently. If that had been a black person, we wouldn't have even made it in the building. They'd have shot us on sight. Think about this, guys. Slavery and everything that has followed, years, decades, centuries of prejudice. All of this stuff's going on. And black people never did that. And look what we were subjected to. But the white folks march up on Capitol Hill, storm and breach the perimeter, and storm the state capitol and the nation's capital. And they walked out alive. They should be arrested. You got facial recognition, the FBI, everybody should be in on this. All of them, every one of them you could get. You get them and you make sure you give them real significant jail time.